I'm Dan Drake. This is Visitor Network TV and Channel 99. Our guest today is Cecil-BarrenJensen, the Executive Director of the Artists Association of Nantucket.
Great.
Welcome, Cecil.
Thank you, Dan. It's good to be here.
The big news is that the Artists Association has acquired a new building.
Exactly. It's very exciting.
Tell us a little bit about how we got to the point, and then we can talk more about what you're going to do with the building.
Good. Well, as I said, I've been at the Artists Association since about 2009, the beginning of 2009, and since then our programs have really been growing and growing for adults and for children and all of our ceramic students. And I think it's fair to say that our space is bursting at the seams.
Your current space is on Gardner Perry Lane?
1 Gardner Perry Lane. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we have, in that building, we have a ceramic studio and one big studio that we share for adults and children. And
for painters.
For painters, yep. And printmakers and encaustic workers. And we do all sorts of different teaching in there, but it's just one studio. And then we also have a computer lab where we run digital photography classes and that sort of thing. And then an outdoor patio studio. And especially in the summer, it is just jam-packed in there. In fact, over the last year, we had about 1,000 students in the building, and that's just a lot for a very small space.
1,000 different people, or 1,000?
1,000 individual sign-ups. So I don't know how, the individual people, but 1,000 individual sign-ups.
Okay.
And then, so our board in 2012 did a strategic plan and identified the need to grow our education programs more. In particular, they identified that the children's program, which is hugely successful right now, is kind of crowding out the adult side of for our classes, and that single shared studio was just not cutting it for adults. So we started to look at options.
Excuse me for interrupting, but these are year-round programs, right?
Yeah, year-round.
Obviously, they're much expanded in the summer, but they do go year-round.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So you started then looking at the options.
Yeah, we started to look at the options, and one idea was to add on to the building that we have, but that sort of seemed like it was not long-term thinking, and so the board was fortunate.
Plus, you're in a residential neighborhood.
And we're in a residential neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah. And so so the board found this location at 24 Amelia Drive and said, this is the space we need. This is the street that we want to be on, and everything, the stars aligned, and we were able to purchase it at the end of December. And the other good thing is we were able to sell our building, and the new buyer is kind enough to let us stay in the building that we're in at 1 Gardner Perry Lane until the beginning of next October. So we have almost a year to get our act together and figure out how to make that space over there work for us.
But presumably you've thought that through pretty well up to this point. What are you going to be doing to the new building?
The new building will be 3 floors like where we are now, and the basement floor will be the ceramic studio, and much expanded. We'll be able to teach wheel classes and hand building classes at the same time.
Hand building is modeling clay with your hands, right?
Exactly. Yes. And the wheel is when you're sitting at a wheel and it's spinning around. And we have such dedicated students in the ceramic program, and they're all very excited that we're going to be able to grow that. Then on the first floor, so the floor that you would come in on, our offices will be in there, and we're also going to have a gallery where we can show our students' work, and maybe our teacher do little exhibitions of the teacher's work. And then we're going to have another multi-purpose room where we can teach digital arts, and 2 children's studios on that floor, 2 big, bright children's studios with access to the outside, and we're hoping to have a sculpture garden and, really a nice outdoor space for classes to overflow into.
You have a sculpture garden, you'll certainly gussy up the neighborhood.
Yeah. And then upstairs, we are so excited because we're going to have 3 adult studios, 2 that'll be dedicated just for classes and workshops, and a 3rd that will, sometimes we'll offer classes in there, but we also just want to make it available for artists to be able to use to come in for open studio. So we'll rent lockers and give them a place to paint or to do printmaking or encaustic work or whatever it is they're into. And then we have 2 little studios that we're hoping to rent on a more permanent basis to artists. So there are a lot of artists out here who paint in their kitchens or in their dark, dank basements or wherever. So we wanted to be able to give them a chance to rent a nice little studio space. And then the last thing upstairs, which we're really excited about, is we're going to have a little apartment for visiting artists and perhaps artist in residence programs. And that's really exciting because we'll be able to bring teachers from wherever, the Cape or the New England or anywhere, and have them come and teach Nantucket students, and hopefully get a lot of our professional artists very excited about that opportunity too.
That's great. Are you going to expand your offerings at all?
Oh, definitely. Yes.
I don't mean in terms of number of classes, but types of things that you offer.
Yes, I hope so. I mean, I think what we can do that, a lot of artists at home can't do is provide really messy arts or encaustic's a great example.
What is that exactly?
Encaustic is when you work with wax, so you're melting wax and pigment together and you're scraping it onto the canvas, and it takes a lot of ventilation, and it takes you've got to have the right equipment, and not everyone wants to be able to do that at home. So if we can provide a lot of the space and the facilities and the equipment to do art that people might not do at home or haven't thought that they could do, and we can provide them an opportunity to try.
That's great.
Yeah.
This won't have any, has no real impact on the gallery down on Washington Street.
No.
I'm sorry, I can't remember her first name, but.
Well, it used to be Joyce, but now she's Cecilia, so that's why it's confusing. Yes, the Johnson Gallery will stay exactly the same down there. And our strategic thinking on that has been to keep looking for alternate, maybe pop-up locations to show a Nantucket artist's work.
You had one this summer, right?
We did. We had a great opportunity on Easy Street. Dear old Robert Young generously just let us have the space from the beginning, or sort of the middle of July through to the end of the year, rent-free. So that was incredibly sweet of him, and it gave our artists a chance to try another location. They ran it as a cooperative, so it was great for visitors to come in and actually meet the artists whose work was hanging on the wall, and that was really fun. So we want to try to do more of that sort of thing.
It's a tough order to find.
Yeah, free is hard to match, but there's other alternatives out there.
Yeah, well, that's great.
Yeah.
So are you running programs at the Johnson Gallery this winter? Yep,
we are. We're pretty busy down there. We just had one this past weekend where we introduced the community to our teachers in our arts program. All the teachers who were teaching classes this winter were invited to come down and show some of their work and meet potential students. And some of our students brought work in to show as well, so that was fun. And then we have a Valentine's show, and then we'll be closed for a little bit and open up at the beginning of April. So we were looking at the calendar and realized that we were really only closed for, a couple of weeks here and there.
6 weeks or so,
yeah.
Well, that's good, because it again is part of what's needed to keep downtown vital.
Yes. Well, and there are a lot of artists that stay here in the winter and are really happy to come together and do things, with each other, but get out into the community too. So it's nice. In fact, we had a really good demonstration film with Lou Granaccia recently in our education building. We had about 30 people come to watch his little video and talk about how he painted a really beautiful yacht in Nantucket Harbor, and so we got to see the painting in stages, and that was really fun, and it seems to fill a niche in this community, so it's good to be able to do it.
That's great. Well, when you open the new building, let us know and we'll come take a tour.
I love it. Thank you. Good idea.
CecilBarrenJensen from the Artists Association of Nantucket, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you.